Welcome to ElevatePod, where we elevate your mindset, inspire your spirit, and ignite your leadership journey. This podcast is brought to you by Elevate Leadership Services. My name is Pearl.
And I'm Chibochungu.
The ElevatePod is dedicated to inspiring and empowering listeners, focusing on minorities and immigrants. We offer valuable tools, resources, and pathways to foster personal and professional development.
Today, we are truly honored to have Claudia Garcia Naranjo, who is going to be sharing her experiences, her thoughts, her journey on women empowerment, because she really has a passion for it. You know, there's a saying that says, behind every successful woman, you and I, there is a tribe of other successful women who have her back, and we all do. Empowerment isn't just about gestures. It is about daily actions. Here are some of the practical ways women can uplift others. Offering a listening ear during tough times, sharing knowledge and skills generously, which Claudia may touch on, creating opportunities for others to shine, such as recommending or endorsing their work, speaking out against inequality or unfair practices, celebrating each other's win, big or small, mentoring other women or others that come along the way. Everyone has something to offer. Sometimes all it takes is a small act of kindness or encouragement to make a profound difference. As we're going to hear from Claudia about her and how she inspires others to act, how she helps others in need. Before I ask Claudia maybe to say a little thing, I would like to give her bio. Claudia Garcia Naranjo was born and raised in Guadalajara, Jalisco, in Mexico, to immigrant parents who came to the United States with nothing other than their faith and determination. She moved to the U.S. when she was 18. She faced the challenge of adapting to two cultures, learning resilience, perseverance, and the importance of hard work. Her parents' sacrifice became the foundation of her strength, motivating Claudia to succeed in honor of their journey and the dreams of many immigrants seeking a brighter future. Growing up as a child of immigrant parents who didn't have the chance for formal education, Claudia saw up close the struggles they faced in a world that often felt unfamiliar and overwhelming. Parents leaned on her, trusting her to navigate systems they didn't fully understand, and she quickly became the bridge that connected them to new opportunities. A turning point came when Claudia realized how much her own education and language skills could make a difference, especially when it came to advocating for her brother who had intellectual disabilities. That moment profoundly shaped her understanding that education was not just about personal successes, but about lifting her family and community. It sparked Claudia's passion and to help others, particularly those facing similar challenges, so they could experience the same sense of empowerment and possibilities that had transformed her own life. After earning her GDE, Claudia worked as a tutor at San Joaquin Delta College, helping others achieve their education goals. She then joined AmeriCorps, tutoring ESL children in grade K to 4, while pursuing her degree in accounting. Claudia's professional journey eventually led her to the accounting world, where she found a meaningful role at Pacific Home Care Services, a respite care agency dedicated to supporting families with children with intellectual disabilities. Her connection to the agency was personal, as she had seen firsthand the positive impact it had on her own family. Driven by the deep sense of giving back, Claudia committed herself to the agency's mission. This year, she was honored as the longest serving employee. Congratulations, Claudia.
Thank you.
This recognition filled her with pride as she reflected on her role in helping the agency expand its reach across 8 regions in Northern California. Claudia's mission is to break cycles of limitation, whether from lack of education, self doubt, or cultural barriers. She is committed to empowering young people, particularly women, from underrepresented communities to build their self-worth, find their purpose, and save others. Through her story, she helps to inspire others to act, whether that's investing in their education, helping someone in need, or simply believing in their own potential to create the changes that they need. Claudia, do you have anything you'd like to say before we
No?
start?
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Thank you for having me, for pushing me to do something different. I've never done a podcast or participated in one before, and this is a challenge for me, but it's a good one.
Oh,
And I'm very happy to be part of it. Thank you
okay.
so much.
Mike, thank you so much for accepting. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Claudia. We're also happy to have you here today. Change doesn't always require grand gestures. Small, consistent acts can make a profound difference. Empowerment begins with a single word: encouragement. Here are some ways women can make an impact. They can offer genuine encouragement, like, "You've got this," or "Your ideas matter." It can share knowledge through mentorship, or skill sharing can open doors. They can also advocate for others, recommend colleagues for opportunities, create safe spaces where women feel comfortable sharing their vulnerabilities, and also by celebrating each other's successes, big or small. So, like we've heard, behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. So remember, every act of kindness and support adds to the collective strength of women everywhere. So let's dive in, Claudia. If you could share with the audience, what does women's empowerment mean to you and why is it important?
Yeah. Well, women empowerment means, to me, I feel breaking cycles that are imposed by the society, the gender ones, especially, right? Um, it means breaking the stigma that and the barriers that try to keep us women from succeeding or from searching higher paying jobs. And I believe it's important because we represent many silent voices from the past. And also, we're responsible for the future of our younger generations. We must show them that they can dream and that they can have a better future, that they can be successful, and most importantly, that their voices matter. If we don't do that, they don't have another example in their lives, to follow, and they'll do what they see. So we're the role models.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. If us women are not role models, who else? Right? We
Yes.
have a lot of young girls that we really need to empower. We need to be setting examples by walking the talk.
Correct.
So if we are true role models, I think at least they can emulate and even become better than us. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's truly said. So we have stories that can be taught, all of us. Can you share your personal story on how another woman or maybe somebody else has helped you to grow, whether personally or professionally?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's difficult to choose only one. I feel like I've been very fortunate to have many women that have helped me shape my future and my person, right? As an adult, they've walked by my side and they've seen me grow into this resilient person who just continues in life. But the first example that comes to my mind, of course, is my mother. She has a very strong story. She found herself into this situation where she needed to raise her four kids on her own, including my brother with cerebral palsy. What my dad immigrated to the United States, seeking for a better opportunity for my brother to be able to help them with the hospital bills and his meds and just giving him a better chance. So my mother had to figure it out on her own, how to take care of all of us, and also being at the hospital most of the times with my brother and still be able to care for the other kids. And even though she did not have access to a formal education, she just did what she had to do. She empowered us to focus on our education ourselves, something that she did not have access to. She wanted us to remain focused in it because she wanted a better future for us. So I always felt very inspired by that. And that was pretty much my motivation in keeping up with my education and in bettering myself so that I could, I guess, honor her journey as well. You know, she sacrificed so much for us. And this is kind of like my way of, oh my God, and I'm getting emotional.
It's all right.
It's kind of my way of paying back to her everything that she did for us and everything that she went through.
Yeah.
So, my mother. But I also have other examples, like, for example, my boss, who, as you mentioned, she initiated her business and her goal of helping the community and providing services to kids with the special needs. My family, benefited from that. And I was very fortunate enough to get to meet her. And her story is very inspiring to me as well.
Wonderful. I hope we can see
Mhm.
her on this podcast.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Yes. You know, most of us, our parents have played a big role. And now I see, probably I have never met your mom, but I see maybe the determination that you have, the charisma that you carry, I think, and just the confidence that you have within. I think your mother should be very proud, and I can see how proud you are for your mom. Thank you,
Yes.
mom.
Thank you, Mom. Yes.
And thank you
Yes.
to, yes, and thank you to your supervisor. I think those are the voices we want to hear here because they will help us in terms of reaching many that needs the information so that they do not go through the situations or the circumstances that every one of us have to go through in order to attain our goals or our purpose. So
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing where your inspiration and your motivation comes from. I'm sure there's many others that have made an impact
Yes.
in your life, like you mentioned. So my next question would probably give opportunity for that. How have mentorship and coaching played a role in empowering women in your life?
Yeah. Okay. Through my life, I have had many opportunities to get mentor myself and to mentor others for me to pay back, The first example that comes to my mind is my friend. Well, she's now my friend, but when I met her, she was a mentor only. She became my friend eventually. Her name is Violeta Palomares. When I moved to the United States, I kind of felt lost in this country. I had never come before. The language was new to me. I didn't know how the educational processes worked. And she mentored me through my entire journey in learning English. Well, first of all, obtaining my GED and then learning English and then eventually moving to college. She helped me apply to different scholarships, and she will encourage me a lot because it was kind of like a moment where I felt very vulnerable because I didn't know anything, but she will give me this strength as far as to, no, you're doing good. I'll help you with reviewing your essays. Oh, look, here's a link for an scholarship. And I remember, and I have this beautiful memory. She will sometimes pay for my expenses so that I could attend trips to go visit different universities. And I did ask her back then because, of course, I felt kind of like embarrassed that she had to pay for this, right? But she will say, no, I just want you to see how the world is out there.
Yeah.
That was to me very positive because it did trigger in me that desire of continuing with my education. And I did decide within one of those trips which university I wanted to attend to. So she helped me, with her mentorship and with her help, with her kindness. She guided me through success.
Yeah. When I look at mentoring, yes, it's both what you say, the resources, it's a combination of everything because the goal is to ensure that the person that you are mentoring has it lighter than you are, learns faster, or gets there in one way or the other. So
Yes.
you said Viola is her name? Yeah,
I'm sorry?
What's her name again? What was the name of your mentor?
Violeta
Violeta.
Palomares.
Yeah.
Violeta.
Thank you, Violeta, because
Yes, thank you to
you
her.
have groomed somebody who is contributing tremendously
Yes.
to the communities and
Yes.
to the
And right
teams.
now, since it's my time to pay back, of course, at work, I do try to do the same for the people that work with me, right? I like to listen to their stories, to their ideas, to what they have to say. And I continue to encourage them to invest in their education.
Wonderful.
It never ends. There's always something new to learn, and we can learn together. Of course, I like being that person that if I know something that they haven't learned before, I'm more than happy to help them learn.
Paying back.
Payback, correct.
And that's all you can do because Violeta is not expecting you to pay her. Violeta is expecting you to pay
Yes.
forward and help
Pay
other
forward.
kids as much as possible.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's good to hear. It's really good to hear.
Correct.
Yes. I think this question is actually maybe you can give more because you've just given Violeta, and I know maybe there are many more women that have supported you. And I think this question maybe can continue on the same lane that you've started because this is talking about the male dominated fields that many of us find ourselves in. So how can we continue to help others, especially in these male-dominated fields? What can you do, and what have you seen other mentors other than Violeta do to you or to other people?
Yeah, well, just as I mentioned, I feel like just being that person that sets the example for others. Like I have nieces and they're in their 18s, right? And they're barely starting college. And I like to, well, talk with them about their futures, but most than anything, just I like to reassure them that whatever they do in life, if they put all of their efforts, if they do what they have to do, because there's always a guide to follow, right? At school, they tell you the steps to, I don't know, apply for a scholarship or to pass the test. What do you have to do? Study, right? So just do what you have to do to get to where you want to be. And I always tell them, do not worry if you feel like you're falling behind, because even when you're moving one step at a time, you're moving slowly, you're very slowly getting there. And one day you'll look behind and you'll see it was not such a big deal. You know, if we believe in ourselves, if we believe that we have everything in ourselves to get to where we want to get, and we continue investing in our future, we'll get there. And we'll set that example for our further generations, our future generations as well.
So true.
Thank
Yeah, it
you.
is very important, yeah, for us to believe in ourselves, first of all. Helps us
Yes.
cope in many different environments, even male-dominated ones.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to that self-belief, um, wouldn't it help to have cultures that have environments that encourage or motivate women? And you can speak to that on this next question. So, how do you foster a culture of empowerment within your community, your workplace, your environment? You know, as immigrant women, we step into certain environments. If the culture is conducive, it might help you move forward and maybe faster. So, how do you foster that kind of culture that empowers?
Okay. Yes. And I do want to add something before we move on to this other question. While I was doing my research for this podcast, I found something very interesting. Did you guys know that in America in 2024, 64.1% of the hosts in the of hosts in the top 100 shows were male dominated?
It's possible.
So it leaves at 35.9% for
Oh,
us women. And you guys are doing this. You're part of that 35.9%. So congratulations to you guys.
it says that there's a lot of us. I think we really need to go there and support others to start as many as
Right.
we can, so we can
Yes.
collaborate. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
And then going to your question, well, I feel like, as I mentioned before, just sharing our experiences with our people, the people that are around us, asking them for their opinions and listening closely and inviting them to join different activities. Like, for example, Toastmasters. I've brought a couple of my friends, you know, so that they can improve their speaking skills. And I feel like that's very important. Now, also, like when I was writing my bio, I reached out to some of my friends to ask them about the cycles that they intended to break when they decided to pursue a higher education. And it sounded to me and seemed like no one had asked them before that question. And they took a little while to get back to me, just as it took me to get my bio together. But now I'm pretty sure that I have at least one or two of them thinking about that question constantly, you know? And I did tell them that I was going to participate in the podcast.
Okay.
And they were like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And I told them, oh, one day I'll invite you guys to my friend's podcast. And they were like, no, you're crazy. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure at least one of them will join us one
Perfect.
day. So I feel like that's the way we inspire others, you know, by
Yes.
doing it ourselves, but also by kind of like pushing them into doing something different.
Wow.
Perfect. Perfect. And exactly what we're doing here. There are the three ladies here. What we're doing is for our fellow immigrant women, our fellow minority women, and the ones who are, I think, are
Mm-hmm.
underrepresented, right? I think what are we doing? We are adding value. We are helping them. You mentioned that this is your first time to come, and everybody will say, "Wow, it was her first time. I can still do it as well." And she's, yeah, I think she said, I can get some maybe coaching from you. So I think these are the little things that we may not see them, but what you're doing may seem to be very little, but just appearing in this podcast. But the information and even your appearance on this call to take that step, to take that leap, is an encouragement to others, especially when you start
Yes.
sharing this podcast. It's really encouraging them to say, oh my God, I think I can do it. I have got a story to tell. Because it's the stories that we want others to hear, the stories of encouragement, the stories of how did you manage, how did you succeed. Yeah. You know, we maybe can have we have ways in which maybe many of us have continued to become confident and continue to lead and become better leaders, because there's many leaders who are not, that do not have good leadership. So for me, for us women, and we know that as women, we are quote unquote sort of required to be correct in many things, in a lot of things that we do. In our leadership, we have to do things in the right way all the time, right? So this comes out to us in that we have to continue building our confidence levels and maintain them consistently, maintain our leadership levels, and ensure that our leadership qualities and values and everything are okay. So, in what ways, or what are the, maybe you can mention 2 or 3 strategies that you yourself have used to ensure that you continue to build the confidence and you continue to build the leadership that you need, especially as a woman
Mm-hmm.
in a leadership
Well,
role.
as I mentioned before, I don't think there's a better strategy than setting the example, being that first person that it's out there messing things up and learning from that, right? Um, if we show our our friends or the younger generations that we just need to show up, it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is never necessary. We just need to look for success and do what we need to do to get there. That's it. Just show up every day. So my strategy is just showing up every day to whatever I'm working on. If it's for work, I show up to work, right? If it's for the Toastmasters meetings, I show up to the Toastmasters meeting. I made a commitment to join this podcast. Here I am. I showed up, right? And I'm doing it. And it might not be perfect, but it's okay. Now I got the experience. So that's what I do every day to continue to build on my confidence and also bettering my skills in a way or on another.
Great,
You've
thank you.
shared so many beautiful things, and because of what you've already shared, I'm thinking of putting these 2 questions together. You've given examples of people that have believed in you, how you've believed in yourself, how other women have held your hand, and how you're also continuing to do the same for others. So, have you experienced, or do you have an example of women that have come together to uplift their peers, maybe groups of women, not necessarily one? Is there any other women that you can speak to that have come together to uplift their peers? And if so, you've also talked about sharing experiences, sharing our stories. So if you've seen other women do it, how do those stories of struggle and success, how do those stories inspire others to pursue their goals?
Yeah, well, I already shared 2 examples, right? Well, actually 3. My mom, my friend Violeta, and my boss Leticia. But I also need to acknowledge, for example, with my mom's journey, she wouldn't have been successful at raising her kids on her own if my grandma and my aunts wouldn't be there for her. They were their support system, not just emotionally, but also economically sometimes. And they will cook for us, they will walk us to school. Were also kind of our emotional support back then. We were so young, so I guess fragile. I could say fragile. And they were always there for us. And we never felt alone because they were there to uplift us and my mom as well. I feel like everything that she went through, she wouldn't have been able to endure it if they weren't there for her.
Wow.
So my abuelita and my tia, thank you so much. My tias, thank you so much for everything they did for my mother and for us as well. But I also think of this example, as I mentioned, my boss, she started her business with $1,000 in her pocket. And her goal was to only help a few people, a few families, right? And right now, she's serving 8,000 families across Northern California, 8 different regions. You know, she's got more than 100 employees full time and more than 8,000 to 10,000 part time employees. So she's making a big impact out there. I see her as a big example of what we can do. And it's very inspiring to me, you know?
It started with a dream.
Yeah.
Yes. And
And
she's
then,
also an immigrant,
yeah,
you know?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
She's a
Wow.
Latino. She's a
yeah,
Latino woman. And
yeah.
I don't
And,
know. She's very generous, very dedicated to her mission,
mhm.
and she's uplifting others while she's growing herself. So
Wonderful, wonderful.
that's very inspiring to me
Yeah.
as well.
And I can see she is, because you are also an example because you work with her and you say that the organization that has started has done so much for you personally, no, not you personally, but I think for your family and for your brother. And I think you can already see the impact that it has done for you and what it
Yes.
continues to do. So it will continue to grow. And we pray that it does because these are the stories that we want to hear. These are the impacts that we want to hear because these are the immigrant people that make a difference in our
Correct.
communities, in our localities, in our states, and across the world and across the country. So we really have to cheer them and we really have to continue just support them and uplift them. You know, you
Yes.
talked about the support system. This support system, I think, and I'm going to ask one question on the support system as well, because the reason why I'm follow up on the support system, because it is something that many of the immigrants, when they come here, some fail because they have no support system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for you, when you came here, because you said your father was already here, right?
Yes.
So the father had come, I think he became your support when you immigrated here. I think your father also became your support system very much because he ended up knowing a little bit about this system. Yeah. Some of us, we came here as students. So our support system were our fellow students because we
Oh.
were all starting to discover things as
Mm-hmm.
students ourselves. So yes, I think support system is often neglected. And I think in the end, we really need to thank those people, whether they spent a minute, a second, or anything to uplift us or to show us the way, like Violeta did for you, as you mentioned her. So thank you so much for that. You know, and I think the support system, when we talk about, I think, networks, we talk about associations, we talk about group of women who actually empower us. So for you, I think I know you are part of Toastmasters as part of your network, I can say. what other networks besides Toastmaster do you belong to that you see continue to empower others?
What other networks?
Yes.
Okay.
That support you, yes. Part of the support system.
Well, what other networks? Were there's different ones, but
or networks that have played a role for you, other networks that have played a role apart from the later and others. What other networks have played a role in your growth?
In my growth. Well, I will say maybe church at some point. But mainly my friends. I'm a person who likes having a lot of friends. And I like getting together with them. Like just yesterday, we had a Christmas dinner. There were like 7 or 8 of us. And I was telling them how grateful I feel of having them in my life, because many of them, I met them when I moved to the United States, and we were just as lost. And I feel like we have walked through life together. We've seen each other, gotten married, have kids, and pursue our education and become professionals. There's nurses amongst us. The other one has a business herself, a nonprofit organization. Another one is an accountant as well. So many of them, are immigrants as I was, as I am, and we've continued to invest in our education to become who we are right now. And because we have shared our experiences with one another and we have walked our walks together, I feel like that has strengthened so much my path. And I feel like they are that support system that has helped me to continue through life.
Wonderful.
During my different stages.
Wonderful. As you're talking, I said, I think maybe we need to have these women that you're talking about as part of your podcast, and then talk about and see how, and then you can talk about maybe the little things that you didn't notice, how you helped them, just pushing a little bit. And I think that would be a good story to tell. Yeah. Especially when you see all the women and how
definitely
they empower themselves. Yeah. So
yes. I mentioned this already to them, and some of them told me I'm crazy. The other ones are like, "Oh yes, that'll be super nice,"
Wonderful.
So okay. I'll bring them all.
All right, that would be perfect, because the thing is, because your network hasn't just stopped, or your support system, it's part of the network support system. We can mention whatever it is. It's not only stopping at you, it's extending to your children. It's extending to the celebrations that you're having. It's extending to, and these are the things that matter to you. And as much as they matter, then they uplift you. By the time you start your week, you've already sort of fed your soul, and you're going forward because you had a wonderful weekend with your friends and discussed things that added value to you, right?
Correct.
And people you can talk to, people who can hear the whispers that you won't hear in other walks of lives. So
yeah. And you know what? It's not just empowering each other like in professional ways, but also in personal ways.
Yes.
We are not born, like, for example, with a manual of knowing how to be a parent.
Yes.
But we might reach out to one another to find out, or to talk about, there's these changes within our kids, and or now becoming teenagers, like, oh my gosh, what can you tell me about this and that, right? So that's also how we support each other. Or I have one friend who's very adamant about we need to continue to be physically active. So she's constantly reaching out to us. Hey, let's join this class. Hey, let's go this and there. So I feel like that's also a nice support system, in the sense that it inspire us to take care of ourselves, take care of our health. right?
Correct.
So
And that's the beauty of these networks, these women groups that we have, because we have different aspects of knowledge, of experiences that we have, and each one brings something to the table to
mhm.
at least to elevate one another and ensure that we can all be one healthy to emotionally, I think, good, have our mindsets that are positive and so forth and so on. So,
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all those stories. And yes, like you're both saying, sometimes we don't even know the impact we're creating in another person's life
yeah,
until maybe we hear them speak of it. So everyone has something to contribute, everyone has something to bring to the table. And just the way you've described it makes me see that empowerment is such a huge word that comes in many different forms, not only
Yes.
on the business side, emotionally,
yeah,
personal life. It can be different forms of help to one another. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that. I know there are people listening who have been inspired by your story. And I know those that were on the fence and thought you're crazy to come on the podcast, maybe after they listen to this,
Uh-huh.
they'll
They'll get
realize,
inspired.
yes, yes,
yes, they will realize they have a lot to say.
to offer.
So, yeah. So there might be someone out there listening in, this would be my last question for you, Claudia, is speak to another woman out there who might not know how they can empower maybe young girls, or how they can empower another woman, or how they can break barriers and achieve their dreams. So maybe two or three things. What would you say to that woman out there?
Yeah, I'll tell them to tell their story because that will be an inspiration to another person, to another woman. Um, I will tell them to always say what they want to say. Of course, not in a mean way, right? But just do not silence their voices just because they're women and they're expected to be quiet. No, just speak up, be the example for someone else, help someone else. And I will tell them that we as women must also continue to pursue our education and our dreams. And I do tell my friends, I'm that person that reminds them a lot of the times, make time for yourself. Because you know what? At home, we're moms, we are the housekeeper, we are sometimes nurses,
The
we're
mom
this,
has.
that. At work, you're there to work, right? You're there to perform. And there's small instances when we really make that time for ourselves. So I tell them, just remember 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, strive for an hour, but if you can't, at least 30 minutes of your day dedicated to yourself. Do whatever you want, read or exercise or go out on a walk, or just really take care of yourself because no one else takes care of us, right?
Yeah,
It's mostly us women taking care of others. So I feel like we must invest our time in taking care of ourselves. So that's what I would tell them.
yeah, it's true.
Wonderful. I'm taking some of that myself.
Yeah, as parents, I think when you come, what are we eating?
Yes, always running around for others.
Many different hats, right?
Yeah, it seems we are carrying the stove everywhere to make sure that the food is ready before you arrive. But that's the beauty of the women. I think it's they multitask well and they do things well. So,
Yeah, so I feel like that's a very good way of empowering others
yeah,
by reminding them that they also matter and that they
yes,
need to invest in themselves,
yeah,
not just professionally or educationally, but also physically, mentally, and give us the chance to rest
yeah,
because sometimes we don't give us ourselves that chance.
Yeah. And I think as a woman to be actually a mother who can be attentive, you need that space. You also need that space.
Need time to reset.
You have to recharge. You have to recharge.
Yeah.
And actually, it allows yourself to just introspect yourself. How am I doing with my own parenting? Yeah. But besides that, parenting is just how is my mental health? How is my physical health? Yeah. So, yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. You know, you ended up as women should look after themselves. I think that's how it sums up. You know, as actress Viola Davis said, women are the architects of change. And as architects of change in many households, we really need to take care of us, right? Not in a selfish way, but in a way that allows us to be able to be present and to have the energy to move forward. So when us as women uplift each other, we create a powerful rapport. We transform communities, we transform industries, and we transform lives. When we empower each other, as we saw how you've been empowered, we reshape the world. Women, they're powerful. So let us commit today to supporting one another, to uplifting each other, to celebrating one another every day of our lives. Because when a woman empowers a woman, or if a women empower women, we'll all thrive.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you for joining us and for enlightening us and for just ensuring that you tell us to be present. No matter how, come forward, try. It's not perfection.
Yes.
So as Claudia said, let's continue to be inspired. Let's continue to stay supportive for one another. Let's continue to build each other up. And let's continue to be present. Until next time, it's over to you, Pearl.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. What a wonderful session. Remember, empowering women creates a ripple effect that extends beyond individual success. It's all about building a community where everyone feels valued and supported. When women lift each other up, industries evolve, communities flourish, and even barriers are broken. So let's commit to practicing empowerment daily, whether through mentorship, through giving opportunities, or simply sharing our stories, sharing encouraging words. So thank you for tuning in to ElevatePod. We hope to see you on the next episode. Until next time, lead with purpose and grow with passion.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you so much.